I'm here with Janta and Merav Wheelhouse of Karuna Forest Farm and permaculture area. And one of my questions for you, my first question to you is going to be, what made you decide to move out to the country in Shropshire here and basically get away from it all to plant all these trees?
It's not easy to answer in short, but I'm going to try. In short is, we didn't really decide, it decided. We were driving around the area and we stumbled across a piece of land for sale, and I had previously been seeking for a piece of land to apply the lifestyle that we like to live as a demonstration site, to influence other people and share an ideology that we believe in, a low impact lifestyle basically. We switched our own high impact lifestyle over to a low impact lifestyle, and when we first bought this place, which we stumbled across whilst we were seeking a cheap house to buy, we arrived here one evening whilst looking for a tent to pitch a tent, for a night to pitch a tent, and we realised it was coming up for auction, and that's quite rare for an 18-acre plot in this area, well, usually in the UK. We went to auction to see about getting the winning bid, and we're quite surprised that we actually won the bid. So basically we've been travelling around, living in Wales for many years and travelling around Southeast Asia and living in Portugal for 2 years and making a lot of sort of permaculture connections on our travels and experiences of things like climate change in Asia, Southeast Asia particularly. But many years ago we were interested in organic growing, and I met Merav shortly after. I'd been working on an organic farm in South India. So we got all these kind of interests in food growing and healthy living, and sustainability is the word everyone's using now.
So you've been here, what, 6 years? Is that right?
7 years.
7 years, 7 years. Okay, so in 7 years you've planted how many trees?
9,000.
9,000. Well, that's quite a few trees. Do you want to talk about your philosophy of tree gardening and any influences that this made you decide on a forest garden as the kind of way that you wanted to do this?
Yeah, okay. I think that probably food is crucial and important to healthy living, and living on an island this size, everyone knows that Britain imports most of its food, and we need to move forward thinking about the future, how we're going to do that with oil depletion and everything. So food is a priority. The site was actually an open site when we bought it, so we've had to reforest it and actually design the 18 acres to provide the right environments, microclimates, to grow the type of food that we want to grow here, which is basically as diverse as we possibly can make it.
Did you have any particular initial species of trees that you thought would be important for what is this, the Midlands, UK, which is what, east of Wales and north of London and a little bit, and was there any particular trees that you thought should be primary to the landscape here?
Can I just? Well, the first thing when we started the design was to plant the woodlands in a way that they will enable us to grow gardens and forest garden, to create microclimates. So the first stage of the planting was to provide, to protect areas from the wind and the harsh elements, and to provide climate where we can grow more sensitive crops.
And the best way to do that, of course, is to work with native trees. So the first 4,000 trees that we planted here as part of the very first design, which was incidentally a Forestry Commission tree grant of 4,000 trees, and the officer in charge of our application we didn't quite tick all the boxes. He came along and he said, I love the idea of your project, because unlike all the other projects that I see, it's very diverse, and I've come to help you get the points that you need so that you can get awarded this Forestry Commission grant. And so yeah, that was one of the unusual things, that we planted such a diversity of trees. That's something I could talk about probably for a long time, but to shorten it, as Mirav's already said it, we had to get a kind of protected zones going to enable us to plant things like apricots,
Even apple trees.
even apple trees need protection.
Protection
Exactly.
from wind.
Although we have
Hundreds of
hundreds
apple trees
of
here.
apple trees here, over 90 varieties, some for cookers, some are eaters, some are cider apples, but we've got other delicate crops like almonds, other nuts that are more native.
Walnuts,
Walnuts,
cob nuts.
trezels, cob nuts, filberts, but they're more native anyway, closer to the native. We have other things like mirabelles. What other kind of more delicate things do we have?
Different kinds of plums.
Pears. Pears are
Pears.
quite delicate.
Yeah.
We are at an
Not so easy.
altitude of 900 feet, and the site being quite windy and exposed means that it's taken some time for some of the more delicate fruits to be more prolific. One of the things I really like about this area that's good for us is if you ever see an aerial view, and there are aerial views of Karuna, which have been flown over Karuna and taken some coverage, you'll notice in comparison all the land around us is monoculture and just plain grassland. In other words, what I was trying to say is I feel really good about planting and starting a project of this type here because of the shortage of trees in the area, and it looks great from the area. If I'd have done the same project in Wales where I came from, it wouldn't look half as good, because the area in Wales where we moved here from, previous to living a few years in Portugal, where we were seeking a piece of land to do a similar kind of project but in a warmer climate, that's another story. Then I'm losing it because I've got a minute. What can you say in a minute?
Also, Asian pears have proved successful here, and that's a really good, more sensitive crop that we planted here.
Bamboos are doing pretty good too.
Bamboos.
Edible bamboo shoots.
And we have a large amount of soft fruits of all
Yeah.
kinds.
What kind? Black, all the currants,
Yeah, you just want to, I noticed a lot of berries around. You want to just give a quick rundown on the top of the list of the berries, because I noticed a tremendous variety of those around.
Berry woman.
Okay, we have black currants, white currants, red currants, josterberries.
Josterberries, that's a cross
Gooseberries.
between a gooseberry and a black currant.
Yeah. Raspberries of many different types, so the fruit over at least 3 months. And
Alpine strawberries, carpets of alpine
carpets of
strawberries.
different strawberries.
Just wineberries, Japanese wineberries.
Japanese wineberries, Worcesterberries, Loganberries. I think that's all I can
Tayberries.
remember. blackberries.
Well, I'm sure it's delicious living here.
Not all the time.